Sometimes as a sharpener, we have no alternative but to shorten our shears. Maybe someone's dropped it. That's pretty radical. This one, someone tried to bend it and broke it off. And it's useless unless you take off this extra part of the blade. Sometimes, like this shear, which is a cheap scissor, but it's one I can use for demonstration, it'll cut, but no matter what I do, I can't get it to cut right here at the tip. It keeps pulling at the tip. And so I might want to try to bend it. I might want to try to adjust the bumper so the tips come together better. I might want to go back over and sharpen it again. But I don't know if you can see, this one has been sharpened incorrectly. That side's really, really pointy. And I'm going to use this as a demonstration to show how I would take off some length off the blade. Sometimes I've had a customer, they say, can you make this shear a little shorter? And it's not something I like to do, but that's something I can do. Maybe there's a gap between the blades. You, for whatever reason, don't feel comfortable bending the handles. You can't take any more space off here. There's a whole host of reasons you may need to shorten your shear. So I'm going to show you how I do it. This is where I use the 100 micron. I might use a 60 or 80, depending on how much I need to take off. But if I need to take off a good bit, this one might need to be cut off with a Dremel and then evened up on our machine. But I'm going to go to the machine, and I'm putting my 100 micron on my plate. I guess I could use a cushion plate, but the reason I'm using the flat beveling plate, the cushion plate in the past where I've used it with the thought that it would give me a nicer rounder shape and not so squared off, I ended up kind of cutting into my cushion plate and into my Velcro, and then I had to replace those, so it ended up costing me money instead of making me money. So that's why I use the flat plate. I like to let y'all know why I use things. So I'm going to put this on the machine, and I'm going to tilt my camera down since I don't have a cameraman here today. And I have my Cymek HD in an upright position. Can you see this? Let me give a little bit of light to it. And a little bit more light. Now, I have my 100 micron on here. Actually, I'm more comfortable turning the machine around this way. And I'll close the shear with it all the way down. And typically, even though this is faster, it's probably going to take off more metal and be the better way to do it. Typically, I'm working in the center area because I don't use this area in sharpening, and usually that's a fresher area. A lot of times the same technique is what I use just to round off the tips if the tips are too pointy or scratchy. So it's the same type of technique. So I'm going to turn the machine on. This is a situation where you want to use a little water to spray on it because it can overheat. So I'm going to turn it on. The direction, whether it's going right or left, really doesn't matter in this situation. But I always usually go right just because I like to stay in the habit of going the correct direction unless I'm doing a lefty. Spray a little moisture on it so it doesn't overheat. And I'm just coming straight down. Can you see that? With the shears closed together. And I haven't taken much off, so if I want to go a little faster, make sure it's cool enough. And I guess you could take your Sharpie, red or black or whatever. I just happened to grab a black. Y'all know, those of you that know me know I prefer the red. But I might do the Sharpie if I want to take that much off and I've marked it. If I am working on a shear that is pulling and I want to shorten the part that's pulling, I may cut my paper and see if I can get it to do this. It's not going to cooperate. But I might cut my paper and then the part of the paper that catches, leave that on the tip. There, I got it. Hold on there. See, it's laying on the tip so that when that goes flying off, I know I'm beyond that spot. But for this case, I'm going to take this down a lot shorter just so you can see what happens. And that gets warm. You don't want to take the temper out of the shears. The cheaper the shears, the faster that temper is going to come out. Now you see my little black mark? I'm almost there. And I've shortened it. Now, it's a little stubby, isn't it? And it's sharp on the corners. So now I'm going to take it and just take off that corner a little bit, round it off. And at this point, I'll go to a cushion plate, something a little smoother. Man, I need to change that. Hey, when your pads get looking like this, see the wrinkles in it and the bumps in it? That's when it's perfect for this operation. That's why I never throw any of these away. I'll use one of my old pads for this type of work. And spray it after it's running. Little tip, it keeps you from having such a big water bath. And you see I'm coming in here, rounding it off. And I'm checking to see how it feels. It's not scratching. Now once in a while, and I've had this happen a couple of times, somebody wants to go from a 5-inch to a 4.5-inch, and they want me to shorten it for whatever reason. Or maybe I have to take off something that looks like this. I've had that happen. And when you get here, you've got a really, really fat blade at the tip, and they want a pointy tip. Your tendency is to want to take off here on this side to make it more pointy, but you can actually take it down here. You see that? To make it a little bit more pointy for your customer.